John asked a question. I've got a body composition question for you. Yes, I'm a big believer in this. I've been a long time watcher of your advice and think I've been a long time watcher of your advice and think that you have one of the better long term perspectives on health and fitness. So I'd appreciate your thoughts on the following. I'm fairly happy with my body composition aesthetics, with the exception of oversized thighs. Yeah, there's a million people on the planet going, ugh. Yeah. You know, I like the way I look, except, my arms are so big. Yeah. So, sorry. Uh, I put on a lot of muscle in my legs about a decade ago while playing rugby as a second row forward. After quitting playing, I maintained the bulk with a few years of cycling and more recently with about 7 years of consistent kettlebell training. I train with kettlebells 2 to 3 times a week, where I'm primarily doing hinges, 100 swings with a 32 bell per session, and pushes, various with squats and pulls as accessories. I do yoga once or twice a week. I ruck once or twice a week, and I'm trying to get my daily walking tally up over 3.5 miles. Well, that's why you're in good shape, my friend. Uh, that amount of kettlebell work and rucking and yoga and walking, that's really good. Congrats. This last part is the hard part, as I work remotely and at a desk. Overall, my diet is fairly good, especially as a Midwestern American pastor. But I've been known to indulge from time to time. From the feel, I haven't had a body composition scan to confirm this. A lot of the bulk in my thighs is muscle, but I'm sure there is some fat there as well. Did I get an age on you? I can do the math. Seven, maybe. Yeah, I'm figuring mid 30s. Yeah, yeah, you'd want to stay a little leaner, and I agree with you on that now. My initial thought is that I'm not walking, rucking, running, generally moving enough, but was wondering if you had any advice about keeping the strength but leaning out my legs. Well, all I can say is the best advice I can give you about. Now, you can't specifically, I don't think, spot reduce. I mean, I could be wrong, but everyone who knows their stuff tells me that you can't. Maybe a better resource for you than me would be Clarence Bass. Here are his ripped books. Clarence Bass, the letter C, bass.com. Clarence, these are the second group of books, the Lean Advantage books, which I think are marvelous. The Rip books are marvelous. My good friend, the late great Dave Draper, always talked about the tuna fishing diet. But leanness, I think, happens in the kitchen, and there's really no mention of that here. I mean, you say you eat well, but I mean, you. I think leanness happens in the kitchen with all the work you're doing. Any issues you seem to be having have to be kitchen related. Um, I think you need a balanced diet. I think everything. Of course, I mean, I'm fine with like the Mediterranean diet. I'm fine with pescatarian. That's the fish diet. Lacto ovum vegetarian seem to do real well. That's basically what like Bill Pearl, the great bodybuilder, was. That's what Clarence basically is. But leaning out sometimes is a real, and a lot of leaning out. You can see I'm a little confused. No matter what I say about diet, some idiot's going to write something in the comment section here. God, it doesn't matter. Diet is like one of those areas where it's a hot button issue. I fast. I'll get an email. Fasting will kill you. Yeah, I mean, if you fast for like 30 days, but I mean, I fast 12 hours a day, 16 hours a day. I mean, come on, grow up a little bit. I can handle that. So fasting pisses people off. Uh, Somebody got on me because I mentioned that I put seeds in my oatmeal. I put chia, hemp, and flax seeds in my oatmeal. Really? We're going to go to war over chia seeds and oatmeal? But that's the way it is. I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's not exercise. I'm thinking it's diet. Uh, and the hardest thing is, especially after a career in rugby and then cycling and then training, you train a lot. And uh, if you are, like I'm assuming, in your mid 30s now, and I could certainly be wrong. This is when those changes begin to happen. Uh, One of the things I would do as best I could in my 30s, if you're not actively in a sport, is to get as lean as you possibly can. And because any body fat you put on now, the fat cells will be there unless you get them removed by liposuction or something. The fat cells are going to be there until the day you die. So the best advice I mean, Art Devaney got in trouble for saying this to the woman, but she said, how do you get rid of fat? And he said, don't get fat in the first place. And so right now, this is a good time for you to take care of this. I like your kettle. I mean, I think the combination of things you're doing is just fine, but it's got to be in the kitchen. Or, and there's one last thing. It could be in your DNA. All you need to do is go to a beach and look at bodies, and you'll start to pick up that DNA is a massive factor in how people look. Massive. It could, if you have siblings or your parents or your family members, look around, if they've got massive thighs. I remember being with somebody one time, and we were talking about how the guy was just born to be better than the rest of us. And then someone said, have you ever seen his sister? No, I haven't. He goes, yeah. And she just said, like, my God, her calves are, she's lean, but her calves are this big. And I thought, well, because the guy had huge calves. I mean, calf calves, and his sisters were, and he never did a calf exercise in his life. So DNA is a funny thing, but it's big. I hope that helped. I know I kind of rambled a bit, but I think you're on the right track with the exercise. I gotta guess it's gonna be. I gotta guess it's gonna be your kitchen. One other thought, just kicking around. If you are in an air-conditioned room all day long, sitting in a chair, you might want to rethink being in an air-conditioned room. I just finished Brad Pillam's new book on heat. Air conditioning might be something that's your body's getting too comfortable all day. You're sitting, you're not moving. It doesn't have to fight the environment. My room down here is cold, which is why I like to work down here, because it keeps my mind buzzing. That and coffee. But could it be air conditioning? I don't know. It could be something that simple. But I would think DNA, diet, and then maybe look into something as esoteric as air conditioning. Okay? Thank you. Good question.